Let's go live to Canberra now. The Deputy Liberal Leader Sussan Ley joins us. Sussan Ley, thanks so much for your time. This is the first Labor budget we're going to see tonight in a decade. We're already seeing these signals from Jim Chalmers, Anthony Albanese confirmed that the budget deficit will be essentially halved this year. So is that the work of your government or this government?
Let's see what comes down tonight, Laura, but the problem with this Labor budget is that it does nothing for your budget, for your household budget. And we know this because power prices are forecast to go up 35% and even 50% according to forecasts from the AER. Mortgage payments, hundreds of dollars every month, and every time you go to the supermarket, it's more and more expensive to buy your weekly groceries. That's the point. This budget, this Labor budget, does nothing for your budget. And Anthony Albanese promised that he would leave no one behind. And 5 to 6 months in, millions and millions of Australians are being left behind.
OK, Labor's only been in power for 6 months. If energy prices are going up 50%, that's your fault, isn't it?
It's not about fault, it's about dealing with the issues of the day, and budgets are about government's priorities. And unless there's a plan to address the cost of living crisis, then this budget fails ordinary Australians. So 35%, you cannot say that a business can necessarily afford that. You certainly cannot say that they can afford an increase of 50%. So where is the plan? That's the ultimate test. And all of the factors that were challenges for the Australian economy were known as Anthony Albanese came into government. And he still made that promise that he would leave no one behind. And this budget, unfortunately, will, I believe, I have seen nothing to indicate that millions and millions of Australians will be helped with the current cost of living crisis.
Do you think Labor should freeze energy bills?
Well, that's not a matter for Labor to take on. There are huge issues in the energy market that need to be addressed, but they need to come from the perspective of the costs for households, not a renewable energy promise that exists to sound and look attractive nationally, perhaps, and internationally, but that actually leaves behind Australians like the ones I represent, who are being smashed by the floods in regional New South Wales. My own town of Moama, I'm looking anxiously. The levee is just holding, but the highest river is yet to come. Rebuilding after that and just looking at my communities, so many rural and regional communities that live on low and fixed incomes, unless they know that they have a government that's got their back when it comes to their energy prices, this budget will leave them behind.
Well, what would you do?
Well, we will have a budget reply. Peter Dutton will deliver that on Thursday night. So let's get through the budget tonight. Let's get all of the detail. I'll be in the lockup, Laura, poring over the details of the budget, looking particularly at what's happening in regional and rural Australia. Remember that the Building Better Regions Fund has been basically cancelled by this government. I don't know whether Catherine King or Anthony Albanese have ever been to the small town of Burke in northwest New South Wales, a childcare centre that would meet so many of the needs of Indigenous children. Has just been told, their wonderful volunteers have been told, all your hard work is for nothing. Does this government care about the regions? I think it's leaving regional Australians behind as well. OK,
but there was some waste, you'd admit, in some of your grants programs.
No, I won't admit that. I've just described a proposal that the Burke community put forward.
OK,
there's a
but it's not necessarily regional, but we're talking commuter car parks. There was a bit of waste there.
I'm not acknowledging that at all, Laura. I'm saying that the government inherited a strong budget. In fact, it improved by $50 billion from the one that we had in March this year. The bottom line has improved. The budget is strong. We have a treasurer that seems to be talking down his own budget every single day and wringing his hands over it all being too hard. Let's see what he does tonight. But the main issue, the number one issue, is whether Anthony Albanese will keep the promise he made to Australians that he would leave no one behind. And as we see power prices, mortgage prices and supermarket prices go up, what in all of the budget information that has come out so far, I see nothing to indicate that there is a cohesive plan to tackle the rising cost of living.
OK, can't wait to see the numbers. We'll be poring over them as you will be this evening, and we'll talk soon, Sussan Ley. Thanks so much.